Hey, Tony Gas is here. Well, we got something a little different today. Hopefully, you can hear me. Now, what happened is, y'all gotta forgive my little sign. Oh, I had a little sign on my camera. What happened is, had a young lady sign up for a session, and instead of the coaching session, she decided she wanted to send it in like a talks with Tony so that I could answer it so that she could watch it over and over. For those of you who are in the academy or maybe even online, I posted my discounted coaching sessions for the end of the year just to help people prepare for 2024. Well, she wrote in and she sent hers in her session as this right here. So she wanted me to post it on YouTube so that she could keep it. So hey, this is a new thing that we I guess got going. This is the first time someone has booked and paid for a session, then asked for it be turned into a talks with Tony. So here we go. I'm stuck. I need to let this go, and that I must. But I feel stuck. The best way for me to describe what I'm feeling is that my future is calling me, but so is my soul tie. My ex and I have known each other since 2003. We met when I was 17 and he was 19. It didn't last long. We broke up after 3 months of dating. No sex involved. I found out from a mutual friend he was cheating, and when I confronted him, he cursed me out and cut me off. Fast forward to 2006. We bumped into each other at a club one night, and this is where our story begins. This time around sex. This time around, sex was involved, some physical and verbal abuse, and so were other women. But I would say I was his main girl, and I also became pregnant. During the 2006 to 2007 time frame, he was also fighting a criminal case and eventually got sentenced in 2007 to 6 years in prison. So I raised our first son the first 6 years alone. I stuck with him. I was helping pay the lawyer fees and was doing anything and everything to keep him happy, but nothing I did seemed to ever be enough. I was young and thought that's what love consists of. He kept accusing me of cheating while he was locked up and trying to control me. He just treated me horribly. I eventually stopped going to see him every weekend and got the strength to walk away like 2 years into his 6 year sentence. I think he hated me for that too. I cut off all communications, but I still allowed our son to go see him on weekends with his mother. I started feeling good about myself, feeling confident, working full time, going to college. Never finished though. I was single and independent, taking care of my son. I even purchased my own home at 24 years old. Fast forward to 2013 when he gets released. We got back together as soon as he got out. Crazy, right? I took him back because I wanted to try and give our little family a try. Bad decision, in all caps. A month in, he showed me just how much he hated me. The physical and verbal abuse started, and I got pregnant again. In 2014, we had our second son. And 2015, we got married. Nothing had changed, and I had become just as toxic as him, but yet we still married. A year after getting married, we separated. I kicked him out of my house and I filed for divorce. Honestly, I only filed because I wanted him to fight for his family and prove to me he loved me. But he focused on other things like starting a business and getting his own place, etc. He became very successful, might I add. Our divorce finalized and we agreed upon shared custody of our two sons. We had nothing else to split or share. So we basically switch off every Monday, is how our parenting plan works. No child support or nothing like that because we are to split everything financially. Truth is, I never stopped messing around with him, Tony. Even after we separated in 2016 and divorced officially in 2018, this entire time I was still having sex with him and doing whatever with him. Even though I knew he had other girls, I still wanted to have a position in his life. FYI, he does not have any other children and neither do I. It's like I jumped into competition mode and began fighting for him when it was supposed to be the other way around. Because how dare I allow him to leave me hanging after all we went through, after all I had invested? I felt he owed me for all the pain he caused and for me holding him down. Yes, I invested emotionally, financially, and physically. So I chose not to let go. I became very bitter in the process, and he played on those emotions. And even though he was making way more than me, I still kept giving. I did whatever it took to keep him, and he knew it. He always called me his rider and said multiple times I was his biggest supporter. I used to think it was cute, but not anymore. Just to give details of my earnings, I'm a full time customer service representative for a medical practice, so I make about 38,000 a year. He owns a cleaning service and brings in about 96,000 a year, and I only found this out once we got back together. In June of 2021, I felt God answered my prayers because out of the blue, this man expressed everything I had ever wanted to hear from him. He confessed his love for me and wanting to be a family, and I felt that was a sign from God that he had changed. I was happy at first. Everything went so fast. He broke his lease and moved back in with me that same month. I was shocked, and our children were so happy to finally have mom and dad in one household. So that's all I cared about, that my boys were happy. But I kept questioning what brought him back. My spirit was never at peace. Even though I thought my prayers were answered, I began to question who they were answered by. Anyhow, 2021, 2022, 2023, I would say I lost myself or let myself go. Having him back into my life drained me. He is a very needy man, and yes, I respond to all his needs. I was his lover, friend, confidant, secretary, financial counselor, credit repair advisor, life coach, etc. Anything he needed, I fulfilled or figured it out. I began to feel just empty and worthless because he wasn't pouring into me at all. I turned to food for comfort, so I put on about 50 pounds. I don't do any kind of drugs or smoke or anything else. I'm a loner slash homebody. I began to struggle with my identity because he just never made me feel like I was enough, and I even caught him at times looking at me with disgust. He even commented on my weight gain multiple times. My intuition that entire time was telling me he was only back to use me, but I settled for that because at least I had him. He started not coming home and or saying he was working late slash or busy. As you would say, he was sabotaging the relationship, and one day I asked him to leave. This was in March 2023. Tony, you will not believe this man. I allowed this man to save up 20,000 while we was together in those 2 years, and I saved nothing because I was too busy giving everything in all caps. I was focusing on us being a team, and he was focusing on himself. In conclusion, I gave all of myself, and I'm in a space where I don't want to do anything with myself, not put on clothes or even leave the house unless I'm going to the grocery store. My day goes like this: work from home, order food from DoorDash all day, pick 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 my kids up, watch TV, eat some more, and sleep. That's it. Literally, my kids don't get to enjoy me. They are always asking me what's wrong with me. What what was I to him, and did this man ever love me? At the end of the day, I still have to co-parent and raise our sons. They are currently 9 and 16. That's crazy. My son's 9 and 16. How am I supposed to function when he makes me hate him? I want my boys to experience a healthy mom, to actually see me happy and whole before they leave to go off to college. But all we have to show them is a dysfunctional household. Neither of us have been a good example of what love should look like. I love my boys to death, and I will do anything for them. And I have apologized to them, but I want my actions to speak louder this time. As I'm learning from you daily and trying to piece together my life for me and my children, can you speak into my life? I'm 38 and I don't have a father and never have, nor do I have a male figure in my life. The word of God in Jeremiah 3:15 records these words, and I will give you pastors according to my own heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. Sometimes I just want to go back to him to ease the pain. Please give any advice or guidance that you feel can help me be a better person, please. Not that what you have produced so far isn't enough. I just want to hear your feedback on my individual situation. Thank you for your time. Well, sister, thank you. And I hope you could hear me. I'm going to listen back to this. I know it's low, y'all, but I got people in my office, and so I don't want to be too loud like I normally am when I'm just in here by myself. But there's three other people here today, so y'all forgive me. Bear with me. Just turn up the volume. And also, too, I don't think this necessarily be hollering at the top of my lungs. And I thank you so much, sister, for signing up for a session and then also doing this because you're not the only one. You're not the only person the only woman. And so your experience is an experience that a lot of women have had. And I've seen this in my own life over and over with my family members, just like this. And so here's the first thing. First, you got to realize that you are normal and that nothing is wrong with you, that your desire for love is a human desire. Almost every woman has that desire for love. And the reason that you ended up in the situation you were in is because of what you said. You didn't have a father. You didn't have someone to teach you what is love, what is a relationship, what is a real man, what is a real woman. So not knowing those things, you just go and you accept what's given to you. Now you tried to stand your ground, but as you stated, you only did it to try to make him fight for you. Now, where you made the mistake is by taking him back. So when you walk away from a man who doesn't have character, and just like we talked about when men don't have character, you mentioned that, you broke up with him after 3 months. That was letting you know, like, he's not the one. And then he goes to jail. And so now you have this time, but you're pregnant. And all through this, but even when you bump back into him 3 years later after y'all broke up and then y'all had sex, the thing about it, what we talk about is you were attracted to the fact that he had some swagger. He's a bad boy, going to prison. He just had that type of bravado, that type of false sense of confidence. And so that's what attracted you to him. And as you've heard me say before, when you leave a man, when you make a decision to leave, you got to know if he's worth giving another chance to, if you'll ever go back. Because the thing about it is, with a man, is we don't really forgive. So when he wanted to come back, he wanted to come back for revenge. So when you left him and he's in prison, when you leave a man in prison, that's why I tried to tell y'all where we talked about how when you do something to someone, you don't get to control or to dictate how they respond. So you would do something, you would do a certain thing, carry yourself a certain way, and he would respond with physical and verbal abuse. And then he was cheating on you. So now he's beating on you, he's cheating on you. He goes to prison. You have a son with him. You leave him, you find your strength only because he's not there. So it was easier to be strong when he's not there. But here's what you got to realize and understand. You have to heal for you. This is about you, not about him. This is about you, not about your children. Because your children cannot be at their best if you don't get to your best. And if you stay in the state that you're in, you are subconsciously teaching your sons that a woman is pitiful, that a woman is meant to be dogged out, that a woman will put up with anything a man does to her, and that a woman will internalize it instead of and allow it to destroy her instead of taking that pain and letting it birth something that's powerful or purposeful in her life. So you're showing them that a man can break the heart and the will of a woman. But instead, what you need to show them is your commitment to growth and your resilience. So here's what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to create a handwritten daily plan. So today you plan your tomorrow. And what you want to identify is you want to identify 3 things that you need to do tomorrow that will move your life in the right direction. Random example would be read a chapter of Proverbs. Read Proverbs chapter 1. Put that on your schedule. If that's at 6 a.m. when you first wake up, if it's at noon when you're on lunch break, put that on your schedule. Another example would be walking 30 minutes. Put that on your schedule. Find a time, whether it's in the morning or in lunchtime or in the afternoon. Find that time. Forgive me, I'm watching time because my driver is coming. Another thing you want to do is take the time and identify what's going to help you in your health. So put on your planner, your day plan, no sugary drinks, only water. Also write, eat clean. So eat clean meaning you're not getting fried food, you're not getting like sugary desserts, and you're not getting like greasy food or just food that's not properly cooked or that's healthy. When I say properly cooked, it's like you don't want to get something from a place that they just have so much grease in it, so much salt in it. It's just so unhealthy. So when you're doing DoorDash, get one of the bowls that come with the rice, a certain protein, and vegetables, and start to DoorDash like that, where you're eating something that is a good portion, but you can make sure you have the food groups that you need in that meal. And then you're drinking water. So typically what they say about water is you take your body weight, and let's say that's 150 pounds. Well, half of that is 75. They tell you to drink 75 ounces of water. A bottle of water is about 16 to 20 ounces. Mine are 17 ounces. So 75 divided by 17, that lets you know how many bottles of water. You can get you a filter that you can filter the water at your house so you don't have to be drinking all these bottles of water if it'll come out clean. Now, if you're somewhere like Flint, Michigan or something and the water crisis is still going on, then you'll need bottled water. But you doing decent to be doing DoorDash every day, like you say. Then you need to put your sons on your schedule. And this is non-negotiable. So when you pick your sons up, you need to put on your schedule study time with the boys. And y'all sit down at the table and you pull out their work and you see what your 9-year-old needs to do and you see what your 16-year-old needs to do. Read their notes from their teachers and y'all sit there for a minimum of 45 minutes and up to 2 hours. And then after that, y'all need to do something. 30 minutes to an hour, play a game. If that's do Monopoly, teach them how to play Monopoly. They're going to learn about business. They're going to learn about buying, selling. For fun, you could do Uno or something like that. They learn how to count. They learn how to think. And then you let them have their free time. If they're in sports, y'all head to practice. Take them to practice. Put them in the same organization, the same league, so that they're going to be practicing at the same time. Just 16-year-old on one field, 9-year-old on another field. If they're in two different things, then you could drop your 16-year-old with the coaches, take your 9-year-old, vice versa, and go between the two of them. But do something with them. Put them on your calendar. And then what you got to do is be more active in their life. So while you home on your break, cook dinner. You doing DoorDash, start cooking. And you can cook your carb, your protein, your vegetable with fruit for dessert. So what you have to do is you got to write this down, and then you're going to check this off every day. And you could put this on a board, a whiteboard in your room, and you can write down to where that board could have Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and it can be the lines from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed, and you fill in those lines, and then every day you check it off. You check it off, and for everything you do, you get 10 points. So you look at what is a perfect score. If I do all of the things I'm supposed to do, walk, water, no sugar, homework with the boys, game time with the boys, and every night you don't have to play a game with them. It could be you have them play a game. You have them do something together or whatever they're into, but you checking that off. Bedtime, 10:30. By you going to bed at 10:30, it's going to, you put your phone down at 9:30. You go to bed 10:30. By you going to bed 10:30, put your sons in bed 8:30, 9 o'clock, unless they got sports that's later than that. It's going to help you lose weight. You put on the weight, you was using food as comfort. By you sleeping 8 hours a night, it's going to help you lose weight. By you cutting out the sugar, it's going to help you lose weight. By you eating clean, it's going to help you lose weight. You have to walk 30 minutes a day. You need 30 minutes of movement. If it's not walking, it could be something in the house. It could be squats if your knees can handle it. It could be walking in place, jogging in place, but move 30 minutes a day. Move. You have to. When you write this down and it's visible where you got to check it off, now you get to see if you are succeeding or failing, and it's a daily reminder. If you fail on one day, you pick it up and you do it the next day. The next day you get right back to it. Now what you want to do, I'm going to give you an example. So I'm going to give you an example. Let's say each day you have 7 things that need to get done. 7 checkoffs. That's 70 points a day. So 7 times 7 is 49. So that's 490 points a week. That is a A plus. That 490. So what you do is you have a A, you have a B, you have a C, D, and you have a F. So you take 490 and you divide it by 5. So when you take the 490 and you divide it by 5, and for y'all life coaches, this is a program you could give your clients. This is something that I made up, so this is my proprietary plan. 490 divided by 5. So that means it's 98 points per grade. So if you get 98, if you get to 90, 98, that's a F. So then times 2, 196, that would be a D. And then plus 98, that would 294, that's a C. Plus 98, 392, that's a B. And so a would be that next 98 plus 98, 490. So was it from, so you may say from 390 to 490, if I'm not mistaken, or 392 to 490, that's a A. That's where you want to be every week. So what that means is it's going to be a few things that you may miss, but each thing you miss is knocking off 10 points. If you get to where you at a C with the 7 things you checking off, if you get to where you at a C, you're doing bad. You pretty much failing. And that's what you want to be mindful of. You come in looking for the iPad. Yeah. It's in that white thing right there. And then when you open it, the code is the 87. Yep, that's yep. And then the app is probably on the back screen. Okay. Or you know how to find the app. Yeah. But make sure you check the address at the top before you order. All right. And then for the tip, do $10. $10. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Yep. And so that's where you want to be every week. You got to get to that place. And what you have to realize is that he has already shown you his true colors. He's shown you who he is. He is not on your level mentally, emotionally, and he does not deserve you. You have to understand that a devil wants a piece of an angel. A devil want to be in the presence of the angel to steal some light from the angel. The devil want to brush shoulders with an angel. So the same thing about toxic people. They want to actually be around good people so that they could steal your mojo. So he came only to steal from you. And just like what I've been telling women about character, that is why character means more than money. Because here it is, you had a man who makes $100,000 a year running his own business, but he had no character. And look what he did to you. And even though he runs his own business and makes $100,000 a year, he still fell on hard times where he had to come back to you, move in with you, and then save up $20,000 to then show his butt again, knowing that you were going to kick him out again. See, he knows that you have the power to walk away, but he doesn't believe you have the power to stay away. You got to let this last time that you had to send him packing, you got to let that be the last time. Because you're not just failing yourself, you're failing your sons. And they're going to come to an age of understanding, just like your 16-year-old. He knows his daddy is crap. He knows his daddy don't do what he's supposed to do. He's going to take that up with his father. But don't make your sons resent you because they look at you as an incapable adult who won't stand up for herself. Show them that a woman is worthy. Show them that a woman has strength. And you let this man know that he does not own you. That although you've birthed 2 of his children, you do not belong to him. You are not his property, and he cannot run in and out of your life. And guess what? By you standing up, if he has a man in him, it's going to make him man up. And it does not mean that a year, 2 years from now, that y'all can't be together. But it's a slim to none chance. And the other thing is, if he can be with you, he will show you 12 to 24 months of complete sold out living for God. He won't dress the same. He won't talk the same. He won't act the same. He will feel like a complete new person, and it won't be for 3 months. It won't be for 6 months. It'll be for 12 months, then 15 months, then 18 months, then 24 months. And you'll look and you'll say, wow, this is different. This is different. He is not who he used to be. And then if you've been in your word every day, reading your Bible, and you've been praying, and you feel in your spirit that y'all are called back together, that's when you can take that to God in prayer, and you can talk to people of God who have godly wisdom, who can analyze his behavior and how he's been moving and how long he's been moving that way. And the reason why I say this, because it's easy for everybody to say, oh no, leave, he'll never change, leave. And then when they get in their situation, they'll give chance after chance after chance. But they'll tell you to leave with all kind of air in their chest. And I've been doing this long enough to know people can change. People can grow. But you gonna know. Your mistake is you didn't require that he show you change. You didn't require that he surrender to God, that he give his life to Christ. You didn't require that he show you consistency and that he courts you and that he's kind to you for a year straight. You didn't require that he shows you that this is a habit. You just let him come back, just right away, just come back and just pick up right where he left off. No respect in it. There's no way for him to change. So hey, listen to this every day. Get it in your spirit. Implement the plan and then add to the plan. Add to the plan. And if you still need to do a session, reach out to me. Get you a session. We'll go a little deeper. But this right here, it's not complicated. It just takes consistency. A lot of times we don't realize how simple life can be. We just got to write the vision and make it plain. And then we got to walk in it and be consistent. And you're going to see change. This is Tony Gaskins. Thank you so much for reaching out to me, sister, in that way. God bless you. We'll talk soon.